I'm in Alconbury in Cambridgeshire. Now it's hard to believe this beautiful little brook can annihilate people's homes. Now it's not the first time, but let me set the picture for you. It's almost Christmas. Everybody has got Christmas decorations, people coming to stay. They're all excited. And a flood happens just a couple of days before Christmas and literally takes out and ruins every single house that we can see here and to the side of me. So now I'm going to go and talk to Lorraine, who it's June and still isn't back in her home, and she's going to tell us of the awful experience she went through when she was flooded just before Christmas. Well, look, thank you so much, Lorraine, for letting me come and talk to you today, because you're quite an unusual case study for me. I normally go to talk to people when they have put their house back and they're living in it, where you've got a rather sorry story to tell that you were flooded just before Christmas in 2020.
Two days before Christmas.
2 days before
Two
Christmas.
days before Christmas, yeah.
And here we are, towards the end of June 2021, and you're not back home, and there's no signs of you coming back home.
No, not at the moment. We were told it would be end of July, but it's more looking the end of August, to be fair. So that'll take us up into probably the 9 months, I would say.
So that's the 9 months, and that's what people don't realise is that they'll be out of their home for an average of 9 months. A lot of people think they'll get back quickly. But look, could we start at the beginning? If you could talk about how you bought this house and done it up, and the flooding history, or the fact that you didn't know it had a flooding history, and then your journey between then and now.
Okay,
please.
So my husband came up actually without me to view this property, and he fell in love with it. In fact, I think he more fell in love with the garden. So I was working away at the time, and he rang me and he said, I really like this house, you know, let's go and see it. I said, well, look, because of the boom of the market, and we'd already sold our house, so we were sort of in the process of just moving out basically, and another property we looked at had fallen through, so we were really literally on our back step, if you like. So I said, look, put an offer into the property if you like it, and then we'll go from there. So he did that, and which is where we are now, sort of, you know, we bought the property, but we had to spend a good 3 months out of the property at the time, and just to gut the insides of it out. New kitchen, new flooring, new central heating system, there was a boiler up in one of the spare bedrooms, so we had to bring that down. And we put that into the downstairs cloakroom. So there was a lot of money actually spent out on it, and just in November we just put in our last little treat, and that was a wood burner. And then 2 days before Christmas, my husband was down in Hertford having his cancer treatment because he's got skin cancer. And I was supposed to go with him, but because we had torrential rain, we thought it better for me to stay here because of the 2 dogs. And woof, there was me trying to put the floodgates up, and it just we just got flooded. It was just unbelievable, and it was quite hard because of my husband going through what he was going through. You've got other stuff that's going on. You don't necessarily think, oh, I'm going to get flooded here, you know, but there's so much going on in your own lives. It's really difficult. It's so hard, really hard.
That's what I always say to people when I'm talking about being flooded, that we've all got stuff going on.
Yes.
And being flooded can just literally compound the misery. There was your husband undergoing cancer treatment, and you got flooded. And then just before Christmas, worst time of year to get flooded.
Time of year. So we were just so looking forward to having our first Christmas in the house. That was completed, if you like. You know, there was still a little bit of decorating to do upstairs, but essentially all the building work had actually been finished, and then literally in a few hours, gone. Completely gone.
Heartbreaking.
Yeah.
So sorry for you. Oh dear. Now, one of the things that I want to talk about, first of all, that you were told you'd got flood defences for the house. So flood barriers for the house. and because of the building work you'd had done, you found the company and
Yes.
contacted them, and they
Yes.
came and first of all they adjusted one to fit
They
a door,
did, yeah.
and then they did some routine maintenance.
Yes, they
on
did.
Those.
Yes, they
So
did.
they hadn't been maintained from when they were first purchased,
Yeah.
with a grant. And you thought the house hadn't flooded, but because it might flood, the previous occupiers or before that bought the barriers, so you had them, you were aware of them, and you did manage to put them all up.
Yes.
Would
yes.
you say that obviously you've told me that water came from other
sources under the floor? Yeah.
That the barriers reduced the amount of water.
Yes, they did. It was very good actually, because you've got 3 levels of the barriers, if you like, one on top of each other, and it came up to just 2.5, if you like, of those 3. And it spayed the water, so it stopped the water coming in, and it just came in round down the sides, and then that once water finds its way, that is it. You've
So
got no chance then.
certainly
You just
cut down the
oh
sheer
gosh,
volume
yes,
of water you
definitely.
got in.
Oh yes, it didn't come rushing in. If we hadn't had those, it would have come gushing in, absolutely gushing in. You know, when you walked through to my front door, you saw the wooden wall. Well, the wooden wall, the water was above that, and one of the walls actually floated off downstream. And it took and it's concreted in. It took 6 men from the village to actually bring it back up. with carrying it with ropes and goodness knows what else. Yeah,
it just shows you the power of water.
Definitely.
Doesn't
Oh God,
it?
yes, yeah.
Now,
yeah.
one thing you've discovered that we'll go and have a look at in a bit
Yeah.
is that you have got some self-closing air bricks.
Yes, we do.
in your
Yes.
home.
Yeah.
But we've just discovered one that hasn't. So a lot of water will have got in through that. So
Yeah.
you are going to have that replaced.
Changed. We've got
Yes.
3 that we bought. I think it was about 2 months ago, so we've got that planning to have that changed and to actually have it raised as well, so it's not so below level as far as it should be. And there's some others that I think have been degraded, so we will actually get those changed as well.
Wonderful. That's
Yeah,
great.
yeah.
Just so you know that self-closing air bricks need routine maintenance.
They do, don't
about
they?
every year, because
Yeah.
spiders get in there, and
Yeah.
you know how strong spiders' webs are.
Oh yes.
Now, if you could tell me what you've decided to sort of build back better to as much as you can afford.
Yeah.
You've already said you've spent a load of money doing this lovely house up, so you haven't got many savings left.
Yeah.
So you're going to do as much as you can to what you can
We're
afford.
going
so
to
what
try.
have you done?
We're going
so
to try.
far?
So we've got a waterproof membrane now on the floor, and then we've got the self-leveling concrete on there. So that it's like a silicone, so that helps with the damp coming up and the water coming up. We're going to put some slurry on the outside of the wall. My husband's going to paint that around. The flooring itself, we had a laminate, so we're investing in some plastic laminate flooring. We did look at the plastic kitchen, which we would like to have done, but we had ours already delivered. So we were too late on the boat for that, but what we have discussed with the builder is to actually raise the kitchen units up to the maximum, even though it'll come up a little bit, probably up to about my chest, but there you go, we'll manage, we'll cope with that. I will have to have a little step. Yeah, I have a step for most things, so it's not, or little ladders. So yeah, we'll try and work our way with that. So yeah, it's just
your plug
slowly.
sockets have been put up the wall as well,
they've been
and
raised.
you've got,
Yes.
Is it waterproof plaster?
Yes, we've got waterproof plaster, and we've got waterproofing in the concrete and sand itself, because it had to be chipped down. So we've got all that replaced. So it's just to help really, so if it, God forbid, it ever does happen again, at least we don't have to have all of the bottom part of the walls taken away and dried out. It should dry out naturally if they do put some injector dryers in. So,
And you're
yeah.
thinking about either plastic skirting boards or
Yes, that's
skirting
ongoing
boards
at the
with
moment.
yacht varnish on,
Yeah.
something like that.
Yes,
That's sort of
yes.
cost neutral.
Yes.
That you won't have to rip them off if you should flood again.
That would be handy.
It
Yeah,
would, yes.
that would be handy. And they look very good, as actually, to be fair. They look like standard, skirting boards. It's fine. It's a purpose, isn't it? Serves its purpose.
Well, I've got them in my bathroom.
Why wouldn't you?
And I had no idea that I
Yeah.
got plastic skirting boards, so they don't look any different. It's
No.
not highly glossed.
Yeah.
Yes.
yeah.
So do you feel that you'll be better prepared next time if you should flood? And have you got any advice for anybody that might be watching this about buying a home that is at flood risk, properly investigating the flood
do their
risk?
research. They need to do their research, because we were told that the property hadn't flooded. It had got to the side outside of the road, but consequently found that it has been flooded before. But that's historical. We weren't told. We were not told, and which is a shame, because if we had been, perhaps we would have put other things in place, because we'd gutted the property. And if we'd known about you, and we'd known about the plastic skirtings and the proper kitchen and all the other bits and bobs, then we would have done that at the time.
You'd done it without hesitation, wouldn't you?
Yeah, we would have done it at the time. If it's no more in cost effective, then we would have done. We would have done.
And as you grow in this house, and as you develop, if you make more changes, you've said to me that flood resilience, or flood recoverability as it's known, would be at the back of your mind.
Oh, definitely. I think when we moved in, it would have been nice if, like, we've got a local flood group who'd actually advised us when they saw that we were actually renovating the property, to say and to suggest, or had a welcome pack and say, look, the village does get flooded. It's a possibility that you might get flooded. You might not. It's every 22 years, I've gathered now. If you're renovating, then just why don't you think about putting these in place? It would be beneficial to you. And I wish that had happened, because there's nowhere really for us to go. I only found
still in temporary accommodation.
Still in temporary accommodation,
and that's been sold. So
that's been sold. Yes, exactly.
Yes.
Yeah. We're supposed to be out on the 19th of July, and we've been told that we're not going to be back home. So does that mean now we've got to try and find somewhere else to stay? But you can't get a short-term lease on a property. It's either six months or 12 months, and a lot of them around here now are on 12 months. They won't take a minimum of.
So it's another layer.
It is, yeah, definitely.
I think your idea about flood groups giving welcome packs to people to say, look, you are at risk of flooding. Have you considered doing this and this if you renovate? Excellent idea. Let's get the movement going.
Yes, definitely.
Thank you so much for talking to me. It's
not
so
a problem
kind
at
of
all.
you.
Not a problem. Thank you.